always remember the day you kissed my lips, light as a feather. And it went like this, say, oops, I got 99 problems singing bye, bye, bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby.
G'day guys, my name's Dave Tran and welcome to another GuitarZero2Hero song tutorial. And in this lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play 2002 by Anne-Marie. Now this is a really awesome song. It was co-written by Ed Sheeran, so you know it's going to be a banger. For the basics, you will need your guitar in standard tuning and you won't need a capo at all. Now in this video, I'm going to teach you two different ways of playing this song. The first way I'm going to teach you how to play this song is an easy strummed version for the beginners. And the second way I'm going to teach you how to play it is the studio version and what you hear in the recording. Now if you want to master your chords, then be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. So let's start with the easy strummed version. And there's just one strumming pattern that we're going to use throughout the whole song. And the strumming pattern goes like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And in succession. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. So let's start with a verse and we have two lines of chords here. We're going to start off with an E major chord, nice and easy. And we're going to play that for two strumming patterns. So each chord you see up here in a set of brackets means you play one strumming pattern. Then after the E, we're going to a C sharp minor chord that looks like this. It's not technically a bar chord because we have our index finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string, ring and pinky on the 6th fret of the 4th and 3rd, and your middle finger goes on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And we'll just leave the 1st string open like that. That's our C sharp minor. We're playing that for two strumming patterns. And then for the second line of chords, we're going to an A sus2. So from this C sharp minor shape, leave your ring and pinky finger where they are on those strings and just slide them down to the 2nd fret. And we're strumming from the 5th string onwards, and that's A sus2. So that's A sus2. Then for our next chord, we go to a B sus4. Now again, you'll just leave your ring and pinky finger on these strings, slide them up to the 4th frets, and then take your index finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And we're strumming from the 5th string onwards, and you want to leave the 2nd and 1st strings open. And that's B sus4. And those are the four chord shapes that we're going to be using throughout the whole song. And then we go back to the E chord for two more strumming patterns. So the verse will just sound like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Next we get to our pre-chorus, and again we have two lines of chords here. For our first line we start with a C sharp minor, then we're going to the A sus2. Now you'll notice that those two chords are within one set of brackets, meaning those two chords are within one strumming pattern. Now the point at which you're going to change chords in that strumming pattern is on the 3rd down strum. So it'll sound like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. For our 3rd and 4th chord we have E major and then our B sus4, and the same thing applies, so that will sound like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And then for our second line of chords we just have the A sus2 for one full strumming pattern and then the B sus4 for one full strumming pattern. So the pre-chorus will sound like this. Moving on to the chorus, again we have two lines of chords here. Our first line of chords starts with the A sus2, and then we go to an E. Again, those two chords are within one strumming pattern. And for our 3rd and 4th chords, we have our B sus4, and then C sharp minor within one strumming pattern. We repeat that first line 3 times, and then our second line is A sus2 for one full strumming pattern, and then B sus4 for one full strumming pattern. So the chorus in total will sound like this. And the final chord progression that we need to learn is for the post-chorus. And it's just an easy 4 chords here. We start with an E major, then we go to a B sus4. Now, those 2 chords are within one strumming pattern. And then we have a C sharp minor and down to an A sus2 for our 3rd and 4th chords. So the post-chorus will just sound like this. Now, one little tip I have for all those chords is that your ring finger never ever leaves this 4th string. It is constantly on the 4th string for all the different chord shapes. You don't need to push the string down and have contact and slide it up and down. You can just lightly touch the string, so you're always guided on that 4th string with your ring finger. And that will just make your chord transitions easier. Alright, so let's move on to the studio recorded version that involves finger picking. Now, for the finger picking basics, I suggest that you use your thumb for the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and your index, middle and ring on the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively. And ideally they shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. So let's start with a verse, and we have 2 lines of tab here. We're going to start with the 5th string E major bar chord like this. Now you can play it 2 different ways. You'll have your index finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string, and then your middle, ring and pinky finger can be all on the 9th frets of the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string. So you can play the E major that way, or you can just use your ring finger to bar across the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings of the 9th fret, and that has the same effect as well. I'll be using this shape for this particular bar chord just because it's more comfortable up at this higher part of the fretboard. Now, the picking pattern for this whole song is really easy. We're just going to be plucking in order the top 4 strings of any chord shape we play. So for this E, we go 5th, 4th, 3rd and then 2nd string, all in one quick motion like that. And after you hit that 2nd string, we're just going to mute the string, so you can just drop your hand onto the fretboard to not let anything ring out. Like that. Now you do that twice in the 1st bar, which will sound like this. Now notice how there is a longer gap after the 2nd picking pattern than the 1st. And that's going to be the same throughout all the parts of this studio version. If you want to get technical as well, we're playing on 16th notes. So the first 4 plucks are 1, E, and R. And then the next 4 plucks are played on the and R3, E beat. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And then the 2nd bar is exactly the same. Except at the end of the bar, we're going to add a B bar chord like this. Now, I prefer to play this bar chord with all these 3 fingers because it's more comfortable down at this end of the fretboard. And again, we're just plucking the top 4 strings of the chord shape. Like that. And that bar in total. Then after that, we're moving up to a C sharp minor bar chord on the 5th string like this. The finger shape itself is identical to a F bar chord, but you just move it down 1 string and we're up at 4th and 6th. Again, our picking pattern is just the top 4 strings of the chord. Like that. For the 4th bar, we're playing this picking pattern twice. And at the very end, we're going to a G sharp minor bar chord. And again, we're plucking the top 4 strings of this chord shape. Like that. Now remember, I suggest that the thumb plays the 6th, 5th, 4th strings, and then you come in with the index finger on the 3rd. So that bar. Then for the 2nd line of tab, we go up to an A major bar chord like this. Same shape as an F, but up at 5th and 7th frets. We're playing this for 2 picking patterns. And then we move up to a B bar chord, so that's just the same shape, 2 frets up on 7th and 9th. And then we end where we started on the E bar chord of the 5th string like this. and we play that bar twice. So the whole verse riff in total will sound like this. So that's it for the verse. Now we get to the pre-chorus with just one line of tab here. We're going to start with a C sharp minor shape like this. We're going to pluck this for one picking pattern. And then we're going to go to our A major bar chord like this and play that for one picking pattern. So that first bar. And then we're going to go up to the E bar chord like this for our second bar. And then the B bar chord like this. For the third bar, we go back down to this A bar chord, play this for two picking patterns. And then we move up to the B bar chord, play this for one picking pattern. And the next three plucks is the only time when we differ this picking pattern, and we're just plucking the 6th, 5th, and then ending on the 3rd. We skip the 4th here, like that. And the pre-chorus all together will sound like this. Now for the second pre-chorus, 3rd and 4th bars are just the chords strummed once. You don't actually play the picking patterns there for the second pre-chorus. Next we get to the chorus, and there's 2 lines of tab here, which is really nice and easy. For the first line of tab, we start with our A bar chord here, play this for one picking pattern, and then go to our E. And then for our second bar, we go down to this B bar chord, play that for one picking pattern, and then go up to the C sharp minor for one picking pattern. And the second line of tab is really easy. We just have this A bar chord played for two picking patterns. And then our second bar is just the B bar chord played for two picking patterns. You play that first line through 3 times, and then you play the second line. And finally, the last riff that we need to learn is the post-chorus, which is really nice and easy. We have this E bar chord like this, played for one picking pattern. And then we go to this B bar chord on the 6th string for one picking pattern. That's the first bar. And then the second bar, we go to the C sharp minor for one picking pattern. And then down to this A bar chord for one picking pattern. And the post-chorus all together will sound like this. Now, of course, you can mix and match the 2 versions that I've taught you, playing the picking in the verse and then strumming in the chorus, but it's up to you. Now, one little tip I have for all these bar chord shapes is that you technically don't need to bar this index finger down, because all the notes we're playing are always in the top 4 strings of our bar chords. Now I'll be doing 2 playthroughs of this song, and I'll have my good friend Diana singing on top for some context. Be sure to check out her cover of this song in the link in the description below. She's got an amazing voice and actually sounds a lot like Anne-Marie, so be sure to subscribe to her channel. Feel free to play these back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
I will always remember the day you kissed my lips, light as a feather. And it went just like this. No, it's never been better than the summer of 2002. We were only 11, but acting like grown-ups, like we are in the present. Drinking from plastic bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time. Paint a picture for you and me on the days when we were young, singing at the top of both our lungs. Now we're under the covers. Fast forward to 18, we are more than lovers. Yeah, we are all we need when we holding each other. I'm taken back to 2002. Dancing on a hood in the middle of the woods on an old Mustang, where we sang songs with all our childhood friends. And it went like this, say, oops, I got 99 problems singing bye bye bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time. Paint a picture for you and me on the days when we were
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. If you've enjoyed this, then be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and click the little notification bell so that you don't miss out on my updates. I also have a second YouTube channel, GuitarZero2Hero Express, where I just upload the covers for you to practice along with. So be sure to subscribe to that, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.